Hi guys, Deanne here from Canada Abroad, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about some very common express entry mistakes that we want you to avoid. Now, we do offer reviews of people's express entry profiles and their applications for permanent residence, and by doing that, we see a lot of common mistakes that people are making. And the one most common mistake that we see is people don't actually understand what makes them eligible to apply through express entry. They might see that, okay, if I do a language test and I get my degrees assessed, I'm automatically able to go through express entry. But unfortunately, it's not the case. They have to make sure that they meet the criteria of one of the programs that uses express entry. So that's your federal skilled worker, federal skilled trades, and then the Canadian experience class. The Canadian government website is also kind of bad for this. They have that great assessment tool on their website that you can put in your information and it'll tell you which program you're eligible for. And a lot of people are told, okay, you're eligible for express entry. So they go out and they pay money, they do their language test, they get their education assessed, and they go to create this express entry profile. But they don't actually understand that just by being eligible for express entry, it doesn't actually mean that you're going to be selected for permanent residence. So you might go ahead, enter into the express entry system because you are eligible, but then your comprehensive ranking system score might be too low. And what a comprehensive ranking system score is once you go into express entry, you're given a score which is based on age, education, language, work experience, and some other factors. And it's basically your global ranking against everybody else who's trying to immigrate to Canada. And what the Canadian government does is they just select the top scoring individuals for permanent residence. So if your score is too low, then you might never actually get selected for permanent residence. And that's an important thing to know before you bother paying money to get into the express entry system. Now, even though express entry itself doesn't have an application fee to create a profile, you're going to be spending money on language tests and education assessment that does add up at the end of the day. The next big mistake that we see people making is it's more when they're ready to apply for the permanent residence. So this is people who've gone into express entry, they've received their invitation to apply, and now they're submitting their permanent residence application. When you go in there, you've completed your application forms, you're going to be asked to upload supporting documents. And with each supporting document, you can get a description of what it is that you need to upload. A lot of people don't pay attention to what these documents need to have. And the one document that we see cause refusals the most for people applying through this route is their proof of work experience. So you will have to get letters from previous employers to prove the work experience that you've put on your express entry profile. And with that letter, they want to see, that it's on the company's letterhead. It needs to confirm the dates that you've worked for the company, what your job title was, that you were paid, how many hours per week you worked. But the main thing is it has to list your roles and responsibilities. So what did you do in that job? And that is the one thing that we constantly see people leaving off these letters of employment. If there's no roles and responsibilities listed, the officer can't see if you actually conducted yourself under the National Occupational Classification Code or NOC code that you've put on your express entry profile. So it's essential that you make sure with these letters of employment or employment records that you have the roles and responsibilities on there. If you don't, this can cause a rejection of your application. And the second thing that we've seen quite a bit of refusals for is settlement funds. So not everybody has to show proof of settlement funds. It's most notably for federal skilled workers and federal skilled tradespeople. Now, depending on your family size, there's a certain amount of money that you need to show as part of your application, and it needs to be liquid, readily available, and unencumbered by debt. So you will be asked to provide documents to prove that you have this money in your accounts and that it's available for your move to Canada. So what we see a lot here is people showing proof of assets that they own, such as a home or vehicles, but the government won't accept that because that asset has to be sold before you'll get the money out. So they don't know, are you going to sell it for the price that you want? Is it actually going to get sold before you leave for Canada? So they won't look at the actual assets. They need to see that this money is liquid and readily available. And you can show that through your bank statements. So a lot of people, they get this incorrect and they just try to show that they own a home or an asset and actually have no liquid funds available. Other individuals don't even know that there's a set amount they need to have based on their family size. So they might show their bank accounts and be completely under the mark and have no idea what the amount they need is. So if you're not sure what amount of money you need for your settlement funds, again, just click the link below this video, and in the description we've listed how much money you need based on your family size. Now, if you are going through Express Entry and maybe you're married and you have dependent children, but you've listed that you're applying with your spouse not accompanying and your dependents not accompanying, so you just intend to go on your own in the beginning, you still have to show the required amount of settlement funds to cover you, your spouse, and your dependent children. So it's not that you get around requiring the settlement funds for the whole family size. It's not just for you. You still have to show that you have enough settlement funds for you, your spouse, and your dependent children. So just keep that in mind as well. So those are the top reasons that we see people's Express Entry, basically applications and profiles, get refused. So in terms of Express Entry profiles, again, you can create it, you can go into the system, but if your score is too low, you're not actually going to get to immigrate unless you can come up with a way to increase your score. And if you want to know how to increase your comprehensive ranking system score, just click again in the description below, and we've got videos and podcasts on the different ways that you can increase that comprehensive ranking system score. And then if you are somebody who is submitting your full application for permanent residence, just keep in mind that the biggest reasons for refusals, as we've gone over, is that your letters of employment are missing certain information, or that you don't have the required amount of settlement funds and you can't produce documents to show that that money is liquid and readily available. So thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with all the latest Canadian immigration news and updates.